and welcome to Inner Circle Guidance. Today we're going to be doing a collective reading, but for those of you who are new to the circle, hello and welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I post new videos every single day. If you're looking for daily short tarot readings, check out my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts. If you're looking for personal services or personal readings, I offer them through my website, innercircleguidance.com. Let's find out what the circle needs to know today. We have the Five of Wands. We have the Seven of Swords. We have the Eight of Cups. We have the Ace of Cups. We have the Page of Cups. 10 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. Very interesting. Okay. This is what I'm picking up on, and this is interesting because the majority of the cards on this part of the reading are not really super in alignment with the 10 of Pentacles sort of energy, which is happiness and fulfillment in the different areas of your life. This is the most abundant card that you can get in the deck, and it's interesting because the 10 of Pentacles is all about energetic transactions, and those transactions being of positive nature in the different areas of your life, meaning that you have balance with your energy and your time, and the things that you're giving your time and energy to are bringing you fulfillment, happiness, and abundance. And the different areas of your life are focused and decisive and intentional with those transactions, which is what brings in a lot of happiness and abundance and fulfillment because the different areas of your life have the correct transactions happening. But what I'm seeing here is that there's two messages I'm sort of picking up on with these two cards. The first one is some of you have had a lot of chaos, confusion, arguing, negative cycles happening where you are getting taken advantage of by other people. For some of you, that's in romantic relationships. You tend to get into relationships with people who are not loyal, who are not honest, or who you can't trust in some sort of way. Somebody who tries to take advantage of your kindness, maybe you overgive to certain situations. If it's in a career standpoint, I'm seeing that you don't always recognize your worth and you end up in these conflicts with work because you end up partnering with the wrong people who take advantage of you, or you allow certain people at work to cross boundaries, or there are no boundaries at all, or your boundaries aren't enforced, which is allowing them to take advantage of you. And what I'm seeing is you're very much trying to walk away from these types of situations. But I'm also seeing that for some of you, this sabotage is coming from you, not from the people around you. And I do need to say that for those of you who are falling into the category of having other people take advantage of you, it does always come back to self, where there's some sort of issue happening where you're not recognizing your value or your worth, or you're not drawing boundaries, or you're not upholding boundaries, or you're not communicating your boundaries in some way. But for those of you who are in this particular category, I'm seeing that you tend to self-sabotage a lot, more so than you realize. And it's not just when it comes to relationships and boundaries, it comes to the relationship and boundaries that you have with yourself. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up all this negativity and why it's very prevalent in this reading is that this is the main problem that is getting in the way between you and your 10 of Pentacles energy. A lot of times we want to give, and that's great. However, you have to remember that the laws of the universe state that whatever you are giving yourself is what you receive. Like will attract to like. The energy that you're creating in yourself is the energy you're going to be experiencing in your outside world. That being said, if you are overgiving, that idea is great in theory because you think that you're being generous and you think that you're being kind and you think that you're being nice, but there's a difference between being generous and getting taken advantage of. There's a difference between being rude and obnoxious and nasty and being assertive. Drawing the boundaries and asking for what it is you want is not rude, obnoxious, and nasty unless you do it in a way that is rude, obnoxious, and nasty. Your boundaries that you draw and the things that you decide to create as a boundary may not always enthuse other people, but it is not your job to make sure that everybody is emotionally comfortable all the time. or that they are even happy all the time. People are responsible for their own reactions and feelings, just like you are responsible for your own reactions and feelings. And some of you have been walking away from this type of energy, but you haven't quite figured out certain aspects of it. The Ace of Pentacles is very much about overflow and abundance. This is an overflow of happiness. This is an overflow of energy, an overflow of opportunity, an overflow of success, an overflow of love. It's overflow in general of happiness and abundance. What some of you are sort of missing here is that you don't always feel like you have enough energy to draw these boundaries, or that certain things by drawing the boundaries somehow going to mess up your abundance. And that's not the case, because remember, when you release someone or something and you draw the boundary, it's because you are deciding and being intentional for what energies and people and things you want in your life. It's not about the other person. It's not even always about saying no to someone else. It's not about punishing other people. It's about drawing the boundaries and things that make you happy, that allow you to take charge and accountability of your energy and what you choose to be surrounded by. But for some of you, because you haven't gotten into the habit of certain boundaries, the boundaries feel very uncomfortable for you in the beginning, and so you just don't want to do it. And the thing about that is any change, whether it is a positive, welcome change or not, is going to feel somewhat uncomfortable because you're having to change the way that you've always done something. When you create a habit, or when you start making things a habit, the energy that's required to keep that habit going and that's required to maintain it becomes less and less because it becomes second nature. Some of you got to get over the hump to the part where the boundary is a habit. And when it becomes a habit, you won't be overthinking so much. You won't be so emotionally overwhelmed, because I'm very much picking up on, with this Ace of Cups, that it's an overwhelming, negative, resistant feeling that you're getting with these situations. But you know it's going to bring you to your Ten of Pentacles, but you haven't quite figured out how to connect the dots. And the dots are that when you reject that energy that you don't want in your life, you make room for more of the positive energies that you do want. And there is sometimes going to be a little bit of an overlap. And there is sometimes going to be a little bit of timelines crossing over each other. So if you're in the process of getting onto a timeline where you are drawing healthy boundaries and you're no longer self-sabotaging or allowing other people to sabotage you, just because you experience another person trying to do that or you experience something with that doesn't mean that you're not on the right track. It just means that that is an overlap from your previous timeline that is being phased out. So you have to kind of think of it as it being phased out, not, oh, this is a reason for why this isn't working, so I'm just not going to do it. A lot of you are going to start to realize with the Page of Cups that you have this power that you didn't recognize that you had, and things are going to become a lot easier, much more quickly than you think they are, and it's going to happen a lot faster than you think it's going to, and it's going to surprise you. There's also going to be areas of your life as you start to draw these boundaries that you realize that you haven't drawn boundaries in for a very long time. For example, if you are somebody who only ever buys yourself new clothes when you have to go to some sort of an event, then that may not always be the right kind of attitude for you to have if you want to have abundance in that area of your life. You have to start with not only recognizing your value, but then standing up for and fighting for your value in the sense that you aren't accepting less than you know you deserve. Some of you are still going on this spiritual awakening of trying to understand how the masculine and feminine energy that you have within yourself, your emotional, creative, nurturing side versus your logical, rational, practical side, how they tie together and work together to create these boundaries. A lot of you still have a tendency to go really hard in one or the other. So either you're super emotional and you create the boundaries out of emotion or out of the need to be loved or liked, like those emotions that are tied to that validation, or the anger from something, but you're not maintaining it long term. Or you have a tendency to draw really hard boundaries with your logical, practical side where you're not allowing your creativity or vulnerability to come through, which is getting in the way of your manifestation. So you may need to do some free writing or some journaling on this week, because I'm very much picking up on an energy where there's still a lot of resistance to this, and you need to figure out what you can do in order to create this as a habit. Once you have that habit, remember, the bandwidth for how much energy and time and things it takes to maintain that habit reduces, and it doesn't feel like such a big deal because it's something that you do all the time out of second nature. For some of you, that may be that you need to actually think about what boundary you can draw every single day. And that might seem like a lot, but it really isn't, because when you start thinking about all the things every single day you can create a boundary with, you start recognizing where you don't have boundaries or where those boundaries aren't being maintained. That would be my recommendation for you this week. Your affirmation for this reading is, I am creating new healthy boundaries as habits that I am maintaining for myself. And as always, may your life be full of light, full of love, abundance, and gratitude. I'll see you next time.